Hello, hello, hello. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome on in. We are live. We are live. What is today? Saturday, Sunday, Monday? I don't even know. It's Sunday. My days are running together, y'all. They really are. Welcome in. It's good to see everybody. Just trying to find my mouse here. There we go. So I can go back to the top. I usually sneak in a little early, but I didn't. Here's Stephanie. She beat Cheryl in. Oh, wow. Cheryl's like the OG of getting in here first. Hey, Teresa. Oh, we'll watch the replay. Hey, everybody. Hey, Jan. Hey, my Jan. Oh, Cheryl's watching. Oh, watching Golden Globes and the football. Hey, Steve. Hey, welcome in, ALR. Hey, Ladybug. Hey, everybody. Hey, Mary Beth's here. Rita. We got everybody. We got the whole crew. Did I see Auto? I did. I saw Aries. I thought I saw Aries. I wasn't sure. If you see Auto, you'll see Aries. Hey, Margot. Welcome in. It's Sunday. Hopefully everybody's excited to go back to work tomorrow if you have to go back. Hey, Pam. Welcome in, everybody. Positive vibes. We got the whole West Virginia Hollow Girl. We got everybody in here. Ashley's in here. Cat's Life. Cat's Life's here. Well, look at that. Cat's Life's on time. Usually rolling in hot. Hey, Holly. Welcome in, everybody. It's good to see you guys. I have a ton of browsers open because I was trying to make my channel name on my second channel right before the live. I remember to do that. Well, it was on my brain earlier. It was on my head earlier to do that. And then I got so busy we've just been doing stuff around here, and I forgot to change it until right before the live. So we'll have to talk about that. But yeah, so it's been an exciting day. So I'm just making sure I'm on the right tabs and stuff. That way we're all good for tonight. I don't need to go to there. Trying to go to my actual. We'll just exit out of that. I just want to make sure I'm on the right StreamYard. I mean, the right studio. Sorry about that. So we'll just go back to YouTube, and then we'll be good to go. So if you guys don't mind, while I'm doing all this crappy stuff, if you don't mind just taking a second to hit the like button, it does help the channel. It really does. Now let's see. I gotta switch accounts. Okay. So weird. Now I'm on my account. Okay, that's weird. It was weird because I'm on YouTube. I'm on my other account, but on YouTube Studio, which is that's where your monetization and all your videos and stuff are. I was on mine, so that was kind of like my TitaniumBuilt. So that's why took a minute. So sorry about that. 2 days is not enough. No, I know the weekend does fly by. I need more time. So today Vincent was seeing that I was on the struggle bus. I was trying to pack away clothes with the vacuum sealed bags. And so he was like, well, I thought you were going to roll those. And I'm like, well, yeah, the new clothes, these are my other clothes that are not really nice boutique clothes, but I have a lot of clothes. And so he helped me with all of them, except for I have 4 totes to go through by myself. And I was so excited. So that's why I was like, you ready to work? I'm ready to give you some. Because we have a lot of stuff. So, and we're remodeling. If you haven't heard, I tell you guys every night. And I'll promise I will have a room done one of these days. I think one of our bathrooms is going to be done by tomorrow. Can you believe that? One bathroom out of 4, 5, 6 rooms or something. But we're getting there. We're getting there. Also, if you guys want to become a member of our channel, we'd love to have you. I'm TitaniumBuilt, by the way. Didn't even tell you my name. People are probably like, I don't even want to watch her. We don't even know her name. But I'm TitaniumBuilt or Tanya. You can call me either or. I don't mind one over the other. But I'll put our channel membership link in the chat so I don't forget. Hey, Crafty One. Hey, Frenchie. I wish I was crafty. Hey, Sergeant George. Welcome on in, guys. Welcome in, everybody. Perfect timing. Perfect timing. Let's go over to my notes because I need them. Also, if you guys have any questions during the stream, just pop them in the chat. We'll try to answer them for you. If not, we'll find the answer for you guys. Also, before we get started, I just want to say Arlene isn't in here, but happy birthday weekend to her. And also a very, 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 very special happy birthday to Vincent's mother, Haru. I happy birthday. Like, I don't even know what to say because she's the best. You're the best. Like, you get to hear, I'm sure you hear me talk about your son every night, but I always forget Vincent's mom watches the replays. So happy birthday, and happy birthday, Arlene. There she is. I know. And her name's Haru. She's like, oh, so sweet. So thank you. Now I need to thank your mother for having Vincent. It's like a whole line. Sarah, I love that. That's the best comment. We have the best chat, don't we? We really do. I will. I'll tell him that too, Aries. You got the channels back. I know you're the enforcer. I know that. Exciting. Vincent was like, it's my mom's birthday today. And I was like, really? So then he comes back in after calling her. He likes, because privacy, people like privacy. And he comes back in and he's like, oh yeah, talking about his mom's birthday. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to say happy birthday to her on my live tonight. And he's like, oh yeah, I forgot to tell her. I'm like, if it's her birthday, you're supposed to say, your significant other says happy birthday as well. But yeah, she usually watches on the replays. He said, so that's fun. She was telling him all the kinds of things like that I talk about on the live. So it was exciting. And we get to see her, once a year. So that's exciting too. And she lives in the most beautiful area. You're okay. Everyone's okay. I know. I'm like, oh man, I have no filter. Jesus loves me. Hey, Jesus loves me. Well, let's go ahead and get right to it. I have a few different Idaho lives that I have set up for you guys. I don't know why I've been going down a couple of rabbit holes, not only rabbit holes, but just things, to think about and talk about. So that's what we're going to do tonight. If you would like to, support the creator of the channel, that's me. The best way to do it is, liking the video, subscribing to the channel. If you'd like to gift out memberships or buy a membership for yourself, those are the things that you can do. You help the channel grow. So let me get back over to my Idaho tab here, and then we'll get started. I have these all the way from part 1 of our other Idaho live. So I had to scroll down a little bit. Let's see. What do I want to put up here first? I don't want to put anything up, actually. I just want to put me up on the screen for now. So let me get to where we are. So tonight we're going to cover the Nancy Grace and the Megyn Kelly. They did a video together. They did a podcast, and then I found the video version. So they did an interview together on January the 4th. They talked about the crime scene, how juries sometimes will go and visit them. So I found some interesting articles. And if we have time at the end of the live, we'll go over and we'll talk about the juries visiting crime scenes, and also about the 3D animation and imaging. So, and if we don't, we'll go over that on our next live. But I did do this on a live. I should have looked it up. It was early last year. So I'd say January, February, we did 3D imaging from FARO, the cameras that the cops normally use, investigators normally use at crime scenes. And I played a video from a show called Crime 360, which is from the early 2000s. And they deal with all of that 3D animation. They show 3D imaging. And I used to love that show. It was only on for 2 seasons, I think. But I played it and everyone was really interested in it and this was back from the early 2000s. So I can only imagine what they have the capabilities of finding and, capturing today. Because they would even capture cigarette butts and stuff on the ground. I don't know. It was so weird. Or the pack of cigarettes, it would have it would know the brand and everything. I don't know. It's just it's very interesting. Very, very interesting. Did I see true crime and other stuff come in here? Who did I see come in? I did. It was true crime and other stuff. I saw you. Hey, Mike, welcome in. Hey, Jesse. She does. Yeah. I think she thinks, I think that, who else said that Brian Kohberger bought the knife from Amazon? Wasn't that on one of those Dateline 48 hours episodes as well? I feel like it was the one that I watched coming back from LA in September, the Dateline. But they were saying that. Yeah, I think it's because maybe I don't know if they actually know, or if they're just assuming because they pulled his Amazon records. but I don't know how they would really know, you know. Oh, Sarah, I know we're gonna have to go over that, girl. Sarah Moyen said, also, I rejoined the Facebook and Savannah Soto board is nuts. No, I didn't even know that I was in the group because I've never been in a Facebook group. I've only been into one. That was like the first one I've ever actually been into. Like I haven't even been into the Idaho Facebook group. And I went in there and they must have like, I don't know, somehow like it sent me a thing, like, you know, someone had posted something and it was like off the chain. I was like, whoa, it's going nuts over there. What's going on? Something's going on over there. So, but yeah, it is really good live if you guys want to watch it. I have an Idaho playlist and it goes all the way back from November till November 16th, 2022. And I was just a small little channel and the videos are adorable. I'm going to say they are. They're very humorous. But so last time on the live, you guys were one of a few guys that were talking about how President Scott Green, is that his name? Yeah. He had lived in like the Idaho house, like the 1122 King house, the Moscow. I don't know what you call it. Moscow house. So I did like look it up a little bit today. So I was like, let me see about that because I thought that was interesting. And I think this is it. Yeah. I got lucky because there's like 50 million tabs open. But I wanted to go over it because I was like, oh, wow. You know, what a small world. Which, I mean, I guess only like 20-some thousand people live there. But still, that's pretty small. You know, if you even if your family owned it at one point or if you lived in it at one point, either one, you know, it's extremely, I think it's kind of weird. Very weird. Miss Linda, how are you doing, Miss Linda? Oh, come on in here. Get on in here. Get a seat. Everybody, this is Miss Linda. She's the sweetest. Where's my Jan? There she is. There she is. I was like, there. I'm looking at me again. I'm like, where's my Jan? So I didn't know anything about this. When you guys brought it into the chat, I was like, where did they hear that? And I seriously thought maybe y'all heard it like just somewhere through the grapevine because I had never heard of it. I never heard it. What are the odds, Catherine, right? I mean, it's kind of weird. It's a little weird. I wonder how many houses are. I'm glad I didn't go down this rabbit hole by myself because I would have been like, how many houses are in Moscow? Like, what is the percentage of the, you know, they really, it's kind of crazy. But I guess he didn't live there or grow up there. His family owned it. I believe it was before he might have been born. I mean, we're going to read and we're going to find out. Because I was skimming through it earlier. But it does say, decades ago, University of Idaho, President C. Scott Green's family owned the property at 1122 King Road in Moscow, where this week the house in which four students were stabbed to death was demolished. Jody Walker, a spokesperson for the university, told the Idaho Statesman by email that Green's father owned and sold several properties in Moscow in the late 60s and early 70s, including the King Road parcel. Walker said it was sold 50 years ago in 1973. Wow, that's a long time, though. I mean, how old is he? He's got to be older than 50, though. President Green has no memory of the house and did not grow up there, Walker said. So I guess maybe he just owned it and he like rented it. I wonder what it looked like back then. You know what I mean? I bet it doesn't even look like the same house because they had built on so much. I wonder what it looked like. I'm just curious. I wonder if we could find pictures of when they started building onto it. That would be a good live. Like to see the way that they added on in the construction. I wish I could do 3D animation so bad. That would be a good one. Okay, I'm going to need Asget to do that for me. So it says that former University of Idaho student graduate, former Washington State University graduate student Brian Kohberger is accused of unaliving Ethan Chapin, Xana Kernodle, Madison Megyn, Kaylee Gonzalez in the off-campus home. Kohberger was arrested December 30th, 2022 and faces 4 counts of first-degree M and in the November 22 stabbings. The news about the Greens family connection came just a day after the 6-bedroom rental home was torn down, despite pushback from at least 2 of the victims' families. Now, if this is true, if they just are now finding this out, supposedly, I swear we heard this in the beginning of this case or something. Didn't we hear about in the beginning of this, like that the university had like a connection to the house, I thought it was the president of the university. I thought this was going to just confirm it, but it's saying that this is the first time. Yeah, I don't know. It says the news about the Green family connection came just a day after the 6-bedroom rental home was torn down. But I promise you, somebody was saying, like a YouTube creator, I swear, was saying it. And I think we were all giving them shit for it. Maybe. I think we were. Whoever that was, if you guys remember a creator saying it, I swear someone said that. But maybe I'm just thinking it was something else. Oh, Sarah Boone. I don't know. That's a good. She's on her 7th. She just got her 7th attorney, so I think they're starting to get to know each other again. It'll be when we are old and gray. That's going to be a good trial, though. It says, we all along have just wanted the King Road home not to be demolished until after the trial and for us to have a trial date so that we could look forward to justice being served, the Gonzalez Coronado family said in a statement issued by their attorney. Is that really too much to ask? And we read both of the statements that, the Coronado family made, which I'm wondering if it was just Jeff Coronado involved in that, or if it's the family, family thing, like where Kara's involved. I'm just curious. I'm just a curious mind. I have a curious mind. But the Gonzalez is also included in that. The university planned to demolish the house, which was donated to the school in August before the fall semester started, but that got delayed. See, I don't know why they didn't do that. Why did that get delayed? Why couldn't, or why couldn't they wait until next spring? 3 days after Christmas, that's a lot to do to a family. I mean, I don't know. I feel like this is like the first official Christmas without them. I know they didn't have them last Christmas, but I feel like last Christmas they were probably so numb to everything to where they were just numb. This year, I feel like you would feel more. You would have more emotions. You would be hyper vigilant. The hypervigilancy would be more. Like it would be there more, I don't know. And I think that was just something that could break a person. So it says here, it's a grim reminder of the heinous act that took place there, Grimm previously said in a news release. While we appreciate the emotional connection some family members of the victims may have to the house, it is time for its removal and to allow the collective healing of our community to continue. In an interview with the Statesman on Thursday, Green again acknowledged the family's concerns, but said the university has been in communication with the prosecution and defense to make sure demolishing the home wouldn't affect the criminal case. We didn't, of course, want to do anything that would endanger the court case, so we made sure we were very careful, Green said. So the mood of our community and the essential healing that has to happen here together with doing no harm to the case, this just made sense to us at this time. I mean, yeah, this is how many, okay, let's think about it. We're going to think about a dark subject for a minute, okay? Christmas time, I don't know the statistics, but I know that the S word, like the, where you unalive yourself, I know that goes up dramatically during the holiday season, like dramatically. You know what I mean? And then for someone to just pile this onto somebody during that kind of a time when they're already, and people are already emotionally broke. You don't know who's dealing with what, you don't know how like the families, how they're doing. You don't know how strong they really are. That's just sad. Like, and so does DV. Yeah. Therese. Yep. So does DV. Yeah. Aw, thank you, Lady V. I'm so glad you've been a member for 8 months. She said, dropping in real quick to say hello. Well, hello, welcome in. I would just be, it would be devastating if somebody were to do something because of that. I mean, I wonder it's just sad like that because they do like that kind of stuff goes up during the holiday and you're already, damn, grieving like that. Grieving like that. Oh, Miss Linda. You got Vincent beat. You got him beat. I think you got him beat by a month almost. We gotta get that. We gotta get that badge for you. That 1 year arm. Miss Linda, you've been here 11 months. I love that. I do. I really do. You've really seen my channel grow. You really have. A lot of you guys have, but Miss Linda, 11 months. Shoot. That's a long time. And you're probably here even before then. That's probably when I got memberships. It was 11 months ago. That's awesome. Okay, so we're done with that article there. Let me see here. Oh yeah, so we'll go ahead and watch the Megyn Kelly episode. Do I have this? Please tell me I have this ready. And I don't. Yeah, I don't. Of course I don't. I was watching it again for the third time because she doesn't talk to her for like a few minutes into the video, so I didn't want to, do that to us if we didn't have to. Also, they've never. What was I going to put here? Let me see. Yeah, let me know. Actually, let me know how you feel about him being connected to that house because that's very weird. I think that's very weird. But Megyn Kelly and Nancy Grace finally they got together and they decided that they were going to hang out and do a video together. Like I said, we all know that Nancy, she's back there again tonight because she's on the spotlight. We all know that I love Nancy. She's like my mom that I've never had. I'm terrified of her, but I love her. And Alicia, she's been a member for 8 months. Look at that. I love that. I love that you guys have been members for so long. It's so awesome. I mean, even if you're a month or you're 11 months in, it's just exciting to see the time you get that goes up. So, but I don't know if you guys have got a chance to see this or not, but it was on Megyn Kelly's show and her and Nancy get together and they chit chat. So for the first 10 minutes, I'm just going to let you know, like 10, 15 minutes, they were just like shooting the crap. They're just hanging out. Two girlies hanging out. They've never interviewed together. They're kind of getting to know each other. If you've ever seen the times, I've only been over there a few times, but when I go on allegedly with Brittany's channel, on her panel, every time for the first, you can bet your butt for the first hour and a half, we're going to talk about everything, probably but the case that we're supposed to be talking about. Because, it's like two girls just like getting back to like talking on the phone or something, just pick up where you left off. But I feel like that's what they do here. So kind of reminded me of that. So just let you know, just a few minutes, they will get into the demolition. So we're going to get Nancy's opinion on that. And then they will talk about her trip to Kohberger's house. They talk about him being like an incel, that theory. Let me know what you guys think about that when it comes up. And they talk about her video that she did on Brian Kohberger. What was it? Was that the one that was Bloodline? No, I'm sorry. I Am Blank, I believe. And we do have that one also in the playlist. If you haven't got a chance to see that, it was on Fox Nation. So it's not like available through YouTube. So if you haven't got to see like the I Am Blank or the other one I just said, I can't remember, like any of those ones, they're all on there. Also, we have them all on the playlist. Well, Cindy became a new member. Oh, did you just become a higher member? You became a Titan too. Thank you so much, Cindy. That's so sweet. Thank you. Hey, thank you, Kyle. I actually said I want a refund for 2024. It's not that simple. Or it's that simple. I love that. I need one too, please. Please and thank you. Really. If you guys have never watched Megyn Kelly, I guess I've never watched her. So today I learned that she was going to be an attorney. Like she went to correct me if I'm wrong, but she went to school to be an attorney. But then she ended up going into like more of like the corporate field, like more of like the journalistic side. I don't know. You guys let me know. She's never really been in a courtroom though, is what I'm getting. What? What happened? What actually is it? Let me know, Ashley. I just read a comment. President University of Moscow is a billionaire and his name's Green and smells like order of militia, like Hawaii Governor Josh Green. Or Malta, sorry. Oh, maybe. I didn't see her first comment. That's why I laughed at the second comment about the refund, because that was funny. Oh, maybe it was from me. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it was Jan. We were flying high on the membership train last night. Let me tell you what. So if you guys did not have your loud memberships on, make sure you do. I'm gonna go ahead and play this because if not, I'll never play it. I'll just talk to you guys. So Nancy's only on for like a certain segment of this. So we'll play it just through that segment, and then we'll talk about some other stuff, because I do want to get into what they talk about when they talk about Brian Kohberger being like an incel. Kind of want to touch on that a little bit and see what everyone thinks. And I want to see what you guys think about her reaction to the demolition and all of that. So if you guys don't mind, if you appreciate the case coverage tonight, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. And I'll try not to bother you guys too much about it. And before I do, Mary Beth's been a member for 8 months. Oh, I can't get to her. Look at that. I love that. I love the memberships. Keep them coming. The milestones are so fun.
About GCU's programs, competitive tuition rates, and scholarship offers from your university counselor. They are part of the supportive graduation team that takes a personalized approach to helping you achieve your academic goals, walking alongside you every step of the way. Find your purpose at Grand Canyon University. Private, Christian, affordable. For more info or to enroll, visit gcu.edu. Nancy, so great to have you.
Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, and I want to let you know, you're going to see a different side of Nancy tonight. You are going to see a softer side of Nancy. A little bit here and there. I was kind of like, whoa. So, hold on to your bootstraps, guys. Look at her. And I paused her and she's smiling. I'm just going to say it. That's never happened. And it's never happened. I usually get her on a mean face.
It's a real honor.
I love not only how you talk about all the crimes that I want to hear your opinions on and your analysis of, but I do love how you mention your family life on your podcast. Like, I feel like I know your twins just because you're free about sometimes talking about them, what's going on in your life. And for me, Nancy, I has a personal connection because I know you got married in 2007, right? And I got married in 2008. And we both started having children right around the same time. You had the twins. I had my first child in 2008, then another in 2011, then another in 2013. So I almost feel like I've been going through motherhood with you. And I did not realize, forgive me for bringing up age, but I did not realize that you were 48 when you had the twins, which is amazing. That is amazing.
How old? How old was she? Did they say 48? Oh, they didn't. Surely they didn't. I know she was older, but they had to say 38, right? Hold on a second. Hold on. Oh, see, too much.
2007, right? And I got married in 2008. And we both started having children right around the same time. You had the twins. I had my first child in 2008, then another in 2011, then another in 2013. So I almost feel like I've been going through motherhood with you. And I did not realize, forgive me for bringing up age, but I did not realize that you were 48 when you had the twins.
Shut the front door. 48? I got time. Oh, I got plenty of time. I'm cool. I got 10 years. Man, my mom didn't go through menopause till 50, so I'm good. Nancy is a boss. Could you imagine? I don't have any babies, but anyone that's had babies, can you imagine being pregnant, giving birth at 48? 48? Most people, it's like they're like 28. Oh, go Nancy. I've listened to this 3 times, and this is my 3rd time, I think, and I had not heard that part. I didn't comprehend that.
Which is amazing. Wow, sorry, guys. That is amazing. I am so tired having had my first child at 38. I can't imagine getting started at 48. And I wonder how they're doing and how you're feeling with, like, I feel like this world we're in now, the digital world, is a lot easier to have balance and see your children than our old world of you were on HLN and I was on Fox than that world was. How do you see it?
Well, Megyn, my children are really miracles. After the murder of my fiance shortly before our wedding many, many years ago, I never thought that I would ever be a wife, much less a mother. Had no interest in it at all. It hurt me personally, but I think it helped a lot of crime victims because all those years, I mean, I started off planning to be a Shakespearean literature professor. That didn't happen. After Keith was murdered, I just didn't think I could be in a classroom ever. I didn't know what I was going to do, but something. I had to do something. And that something was to go to law school. And Megyn, you're going to laugh. I had to look up the definition of plaintiff and defendant in Black's Law Dictionary and wrote it down. I still remember writing it down. I had moved to Philadelphia when my sister was a professor at Wharton at that time. And I kept writing and writing. It was a whole page of the definition of plaintiff and a whole page of the definition of defendant. But I did get into law school. I had one recommendation, Megyn, one recommendation to get into law school. My Sunday school teacher, Miss Jeanette Johnson. And guess what? I got in. I don't know how I got in, but I got in.
Because you can always count on the Sunday school teacher to give you a good review, give you a good reference.
I never looked back. I was a machine. All I cared about was putting the next guilty guy behind bars. And yes, they're usually guy, although I had my share of women behind bars too. But that's all I cared about. I would send one jury out to deliberate, and while they were out deliberating, we'd bring in the next panel. That is a very tense lifestyle. It's a very hard way to make a living, but that's all I cared about, Megyn. And anything else, a personal life, meant nothing to me at all, hence gaining a very bad reputation as being mean, evil, heartless, ruthless, blah, blah, blah. So it was many, many years later that I married my longtime love, David, who had stuck by me through thick and thin. I really don't think I would have lived physically if he had not gotten me through those years. When I met him, I was down to 89 pounds. I didn't want to eat. I didn't want to drink. I didn't want to do anything. And he stuck by me through all those years. And just before the door closed, we got married. And in a miracle, I got pregnant. Lucy was born at 2 pounds, smaller than a kitten, Megyn.
Oh, wow.
And we were all in intensive care for a really long time. Oh, there she is.
Sweet babies.
So that is the story. And yes, thank heaven for the new world, other than, racing around the way we did to being able to be moms and work. I'm just so happy. My mom did not have that luxury, nor did my dad.
No, mine either. Not that my mom would have wanted to be home with us full time. My mom, she would be like, it's too much. But I don't feel the same. I love having the balance that I have now, and I never could have made it in the Fox News primetime for longer than I did. It was just wasn't seeing them at all. Now you were before you really, your kids were young, but I remember in 2011, that's when the Casey Anthony case was out.
Oh gosh.
And I was at Fox, and I was
I was
live in the middle of the day at that
They're going to talk about Casey Anthony for a moment. I forgot too. So
point. But what I remember is you were crushing it. You were the main reason that story went national and people started to pay attention to what she had, I believe, 100% done and now got away with. And what I remember, Nancy, is you started to beat Bill O'Reilly. He was on at 8 on Fox. You were on his competition at 8. And normally headline news did not give Fox a run for its money. Just, it was just not the same juggernaut. But you were about to take a month off of the king of cable, Bill O'Reilly, because your case, it was just everybody was tuning in to hear what you had to say. And Fox was maneuvering like there was no tomorrow to try to get his numbers up. And so what they would do is they kept designating his shows on Friday, which were not strong. Friday night ratings are never very good, as specials so that they wouldn't count. I don't even know if you knew this was happening. So that they wouldn't count in the ratings. No, this is the first time
hearing of this.
It was so that they wouldn't count in the
don't
ratings.
Don't tell Bill O'Reilly. I think that man can hold a grudge.
So I hear.
Don't worry, Bill O'Reilly's plenty good. He argues with Chris Como every Wednesday night for an hour. They're both red in the face talking politics.
And that was the only way they managed to stave off your ratings victories. But my point is, you were a juggernaut. And when you got your hands into a case, the whole nation paid attention and really have been
how
a
that
game
happened,
changer.
Megyn? This is a funny story, and I'm sure similar things happened to you. But I had just given the twins a bath, right? And we knew all day long, since early that morning, as I still do, my EP, Dean and I would get up around 5 in the morning and start looking at what's happening around the country the night before and that morning. And we had our program set. There was a missing person, a child. That's what we were going to devote the night to. So I went about the day working. I gave the twins a bath. I had to crawl out the back window because if I put on shoes or regular clothes, they would know I was leaving, and Lucy and John David would cry. And so I would give them a bath and go, I'll be right back. And I'd climb out the playroom window, put on my shoes, and go get in the car and go to work. So I was wet from the bath. I had just put my shoes on, was driving to work, and I started a conference call about what sound do we have, what chyrons are we putting up, what's all that. And lo and behold, Megyn, I find out that the child had been found. Well, there goes the hour. I'm like, oh, dear Lord in heaven. And I said, what else has happened? And they told me that a little girl had been reported missing. And I say, when was she reported? And they said 30 days ago. And I'm like, stop. What? And that's how it started. They told me Kelly had been missing for 30 days before she was reported missing. And I went, no, lead with that. That's all I knew. And I said, who reported her missing? And they said, the grandmother. And I said, well, where's the mother? And that's how the whole thing started, in the back, in that car on the way to work.
All right. So I'm getting ahead of myself because I want to stay back for a minute.
Okay, so everybody go to Twitter and tag Nancy Grace and tag Madalena Kojikari, because that little girl needs some attention. I'm about to go over there right now and do it. Like, come on, Nancy, we need you, girlfriend.
In your prosecutorial years, because I do think it's amazing.
Rewatch it.
Very few prosecutors have a perfect record.
They probably would get us 100%
perfect record of conviction. This is what I love about you. I love that you did this. This is one of the reasons I went to law school. I wanted to be a prosecutor, but I never did it. I sold out. The big law firms came with big money. I was poor. I know you were poor too, but like I sold out and I didn't do it. And to this day, I have a Jones to go back and do it. Like I've considered it, even now, like maybe I could still do it. But I love that you did it. And I know it was, as you mentioned, linked to the murder of your fiance. But how do you see your career in law enforcement as a prosecution now, as a prosecutor? Because I feel like, not to say anything was justified that happened to Keith, but there was a purpose for you on this earth. Like, you think of all the people you helped while you were a prosecutor and then beyond. If that one event hadn't happened, I don't know what you'd be doing. I guess you'd be teaching English literature at the college level.
Yes, I would be. And I would be living in Colorado with Keith, where he already had a job lined up, and maybe even teaching high school. I don't know what I would have been teaching. Sometimes I think about that, but I try not to, because, when you have depression, when someone has depression, sometimes you get so deep into it, you can't get out of it. And I lived in that deep state for a long time after Keith's murder. And I'm one of those people that once I get in it, I can't get out of it. So whenever I get close to it, I back off as quickly as possible. So I try not to think about what may have been, and I focus on what is now. My years as a felony prosecutor were the hardest, most demanding job I have ever had, and I would do it again in a minute. I've often thought of, on those nights I was sitting across the table from Johnny Cochran during Cochran and Grace. I thought, and beyond, many times, and I'd be arguing with some lawyer on the other end of a camera. I'm like, why am I here? Why am I not back in court, making a difference in this world and doing something really worthwhile. It's, at the end of every trial, you have a victim's family that you have helped, or a victim that lived. And you've done the right thing, and you get immediate gratification. And I knew that I was helping in some way. In our world now, we don't ever really know unless, somebody is found or a case is solved because of our program, which has happened many times. Then I know that it's making a difference. I had to have 2 night jobs when I was a prosecutor to pay the house note and the car note. And
Yeah,
I
it
would
doesn't
drive
pay
that
well.
I would drive that beat up Honda, and I would sit at a red light, Megyn, you're going to laugh, on the way to court, and there would be just smoke coming out from under the hood. And I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to the courthouse if I have to walk. So anyway, yeah, that was the hardest job I've ever had. And it is sometimes very much like you see on TV. I never really had second chairs. Sometimes I did, but I had to think. I couldn't talk to anyone during a trial. In fact, I would make my investigator write me notes and hand it to me because I had to hear every word. And even now, I ask people to say, will you say that again? Because
Yeah, you
even
do.
one word matters. But I would say that was the best and worst job I've ever had.
Did you always have the ability you have now to be, you're very clear in your presentation. And one of the things I love listening to you talk about these big cases is you ask the best questions. They're not always the obvious questions. You'll say, like, why would somebody who is telling the truth about this have done that? You can see the truth lane and you can see the falsity lane. And like, I can see your radar going off when someone is in the wrong lane, and you just will hammer the story or the person, if they're there, on the inconsistency, the poor logic of the lie they're trying to tell. But not everybody has that ability. So have you always had it? Was this a skill you honed? And where did it come from? Like, were you raised to do this thing?
I think I've got a very sensitive BSO meter, but as far as speaking publicly, for the longest time, I could not say an R, which is not good if your name is Nancy Grace. And we didn't have, my dad worked for the railroad, then Southern Central Railroad, now Norfolk Southern. My mom was a bank teller that worked her way up to be a CFO of a company, but we didn't have a speech therapist. And I can remember my parents saying, just work on your R's. Okay.
Oh,
And
gosh.
I remember playing outside, and I climbed a tree and I was practicing my R's. And I can remember, Megyn, the first time I said river, and I could hear it. I'm like, river. And I knew I had said it correctly, and I jumped out of the tree, ran in the house, all through the house screaming, river, river. So, I think that to be a prosecutor, you don't just win the case. You have to do it ethically. You can't cheat. You have an additional burden. You have to be the good guy, or else you lose it all. That's a very big burden. So it wasn't just about winning for me. It was about putting the right person behind bars on a felony. And at the end, I was focusing on serial killing, spree killing, serial molestation, serial rape, and any sort of arson. So I guess I was removed in a way, but when I would be with the family of these victims, I remember them like it was yesterday, and am still in touch with many of my friends that I made in the district attorney's office.
That is so heavy. That is like the heaviest stuff to deal with day in and day out. And unlike, people in news like me, we get to the darkest cases. I can choose now with my audience to omit, the darkest details, right? People are trying to follow the news, but they don't necessarily want to have their heart crushed on a Monday, when they're trying to catch up on things. When you're the prosecutor, there's no out. You've got to immerse yourself in it. You have to live it. You have to present it. The poor jurors have to see it, and your response. Like, it's a dark life in many ways. And you did it for how many years?
Oh gosh, let's see. When I got out of school, first I was a clerk to a federal judge. Then they wouldn't take me at the district attorney's office because I had no experience. So I went to antitrust and consumer protection with the federal government. So I was a Fed for 3 years. Finally, I got in at the Fulton County District Attorney's Office. I've been trying for 3 years. I finally got in. My first case was a shoplifting, and more accurately put, an attempted shoplifting, because the poor little guy, he's very pale and sickly looking and pitiful and about as short as I am. And he actually didn't steal anything, Megan. And that
Oh.
was my first case. I won on attempted shoplifting. And I remember arguing, and I looked up at
Attempted
the judge, and he
shoplifting.
was like,
Who prosecutes? I'm sorry. I'm sorry to laugh, but who prosecutes attempted shoplifting? Like they didn't even shoplift, but they attempted to. Man, Nancy was hardcore. She was like, everybody's in trouble.
what? But somehow I managed to eke out an attempted shoplifting. And from there, I went straight into violent felonies.
Wow. So that was years. I don't like, was it 5 years, 9 years? I can't remember what I read.
10 years in the district attorney's
Okay.
office, almost to the day. And I would have stayed, but my elected DA, Mr. Slayton, then the longest serving district attorney in the country, I think it was 37 years. It was like a grandfather to me. I loved Mr. Slayton and his wife, Jackie, so much. And that was at a time where women and minorities did not get to go in front of juries, Megyn. We very often were relegated to drawing up indictments or presenting to a grand jury or prosecuting in juvenile hall, which is basically you sit around a table with a judge and talk about what's best for the defendant that committed a murder. He, however, was very advanced. You know, he handled the Wayne Williams case. He handled so many high-profile cases. Great person. And if you could win a case, you would be a trial lawyer. So I managed to, along with a few other women and many minorities, become a trial lawyer. And those were some of the best years of my life until I had the twins.
Mm-hmm. And just so the audience knows, not
I'm still thinking about this attempted shoplifting. I'm gonna look up the law on that. Because what do? Let's say they put the items in their pocket, but they didn't walk out of the store with them. I don't know.
to
Very
bring it
weird.
up and linger on it. But Keith, the thing that set this off, Keith, your fiance, was murdered. So I understand it was a workplace violence situation where somebody came and shot him while he was driving a truck, and multiple times he died. And then you actually testified at that criminal trial, which, my God, I mean, people already know you're strong. Like that takes a special level of strength while you're in that level of grieving to go testify at the trial, but you did it.
Well, Megyn, it's much of it is like a blur. And, people often poo-poo lost recollection or recollection regained. But I can say that for a chunk of time before Keith's murder and a big chunk of time after his murder, I don't remember so much. The things I do remember, I was at school in a statistics exam, and I came out of the exam, and I remember it was so dark in the building, and I opened the doors going out. I was at Mercer University. I later went to Mercer Law School in NYU for my LLM in criminal and constitutional law. But at that time, I was just finishing my undergrad degree. And it was so dark in the building and so bright and beautiful and sunny. And I walked out and I stopped halfway, didn't have a cell phone, and used a payphone to call my job. I worked at the university library to say, I'm on foot. I'm going to be there. I'm 10 minutes late, but I'm coming. And they told me to call Keith's sister, Judy. And I knew then something was horribly wrong. And I remember, Megyn, that When I tried to dial the numbers, my hand wouldn't work. Have you ever seen a moth around the light outside, how it flitters around like that? I looked at my hand and that's what I couldn't get to the numbers, but I did get to them. And I don't know how, Megyn, but I knew. And she picked up the phone and said, "Where are you?" And I said, "Is Keith gone?"
Oh,
And I
wow.
knew. And she said, "Yes." And after that, it was a blur. I dropped the phone and left it just hanging, as I recall. And I remember driving by our little Methodist church. There was nobody at home. Both my parents worked. I had just transferred back home to Mercer from where I met Keith in Valdosta. And I stopped at our church because I saw a car parked there. And I went in and my pastor was there, Dr. Oliver. And I said, "Keith is dead." And I sat down at his desk. And then I decided, Megyn, that he wasn't dead, that he had been in a crash and he was alive. And if I could figure out where he was, I could get to him and I could fix it. And so suddenly I was in a hurry. And then I saw upside down reading, Billy wrote Bernstein Funeral Home. And then I knew. And that's what happened. And everything else was just kind of a blur. But yes, I hardly remember much about the funeral, except the pastor kept calling me Mary.
Oh, boy.
And then I remember the trial. That was the first time I'd ever been in a courtroom. And I went in, and I don't remember this. My mother and father would take off of work and drive me every day. But I hardly remember that. And that was hard to get off of work.
A long drive, I understand.
Yeah, it was. It was a long drive, about 2 hours each way. And I got there, and everything was so quiet. I remember I had on my boots, my cowboy boots, and I could hear each foot going up the stand. The witness sat right beside the bench, elevated, and I spoke to the jury. And I remember coming down off the witness stand, and I looked at the counsel table, and I saw Keith's bloody shirt there. And I had not seen that before. And I kept walking, and I saw the defendant, and he looked at me, and then he looked down. He wouldn't look at me. And then I looked at his lawyers. There was a couple of lawyers sitting there, and they looked at me, and they looked down. They wouldn't look at me. And I didn't know what any of that meant. And I walked out. I could hear my feet. And then the door shut behind me, and I don't remember anything else. But what happened to Keith is this. He had a summer job. He was a geology major, and his dad knew some guy that owned a construction company, and he had a summer job in construction way out in the middle of nowhere, very rural building, I guess a commercial building. And at lunchtime, they were so far away, somebody had to drive into town to get sodas, and Keith volunteered. As I recall it, the perpetrator, the killer, had been fired off the job and was angry. And Keith drove back in the company truck, and he opened fire and shot Keith 5 times in the face, the neck, and the head. Keith lived. He was an athlete. He had been on baseball scholarship, and he was alive when he got to the hospital, but then died. That's what happened.
Wow. The man who did it was convicted. And how long did he serve, and where is he now?
I remember I was at Court TV, and I can place it in about 90. Oh gosh. I guess he did. Oh gosh, he did well over 20 years, but I had been on the air. I did the morning shift that morning for some reason and went back to my office, and I was looking out at 3rd Avenue. My office then was at the corner of 40th and 3rd. And I was reading emails that had been sent to me on the public forum. And somebody had written, "Did you know Keith's killer has been released?" I couldn't believe it. That's how I found out.
My God.
And I just remember I didn't even try to look it up. I just sat there and looked out at Third Avenue. So that would have been around 2000, I guess. Where is he now? I don't know. I don't know where he is now. I
It's
don't know if
amazing
he's
to
dead or
think.
alive. And would it matter?
Crazy.
It won't change anything that happened.
It's amazing to think.
Except
I'm gonna say this now, for her to not want to know where he is or what he's doing or any of that, she must have a forgiveness in her heart and in her mind that I don't know nothing about. You know what I mean? Because you would have to be able to forgive and forget to walk away and not know where someone's at that unalived your fiance. But stick with me. They're getting ready to start talking about Idaho. She just this is the first time I've ever actually heard the full story. So I wanted to go ahead and bring it to you guys. Cause like I've heard like bits and pieces of it. But I thought she said she was working in the school at the school for like to get her law degree. So I don't know why she would be a teacher when she was going to school to be a lawyer. So yeah, they're going to start talking about Idaho here in just a moment. It was a little bit longer than I thought at the beginning. They just chit-chatted, get to know each other, I guess.
except
this
if I
guy
knew
may
where
be
he
out
was, I
there.
might want to go kill him, Megyn, and then you'd have to defend me.
I would. I would do
Then
it.
I'd only see the twins on visiting day behind barbed wire.
Like I
there's not a
can't
drink.
imagine that. I do not have anything in my past
Vodka tonic.
that helps me relate to this. But the one sliver I can, because I had a very bad
I know, I
stalker
agree.
at one point, and the guy wound up going behind bars and into a
That must be
mental
a good
institution for
feeling
10
for her.
years. And, as the victim, quote, of his crime, they had to let me know when he got out. And I remember my stomach dropping. Like you don't know what it means. Does it mean things are going to start back up again? Am I in danger? And I'm sure you had to at least think about that. Like, what has he been in any way reformed? Is he still wrought with anger? He knows your name. You were not a public figure when you testified, but of course he knows your name. And then you went on to become a big star. So I'm sure it had to raise a lot for you.
What bothers me more is the people I put behind bars happily. And Megyn, I would look them right in the eye when they got dragged out of court. I
I love
mean,
that about you. I do. I love
no
that about you.
mercy. I don't care if it's attempted shoplifting or triple homicide. To hell with them. But what about my children? They're getting out now. I do think
Scary.
about that a lot. Yes. And that is honestly the one reason I can't go back to the business until they're off in college and away. I just can't put them and David, who's like the best person I've ever known. Well, maybe second to my dad and mom, but I can't put them in that kind of a danger.
Yeah. It's already risky enough just being a public person, never mind a public person who's putting criminals behind bars for a living. All these prosecutors, I feel for the ones who are making $33,000 a year in these local DA's office who are in danger. And unlike you today or me today, they cannot afford a
Excuse
security
me,
guard.
32.
32,000 bucks. Yes.
At my height.
Yes.
32. Hence the
I
two night
believe
jobs.
it. No, this is why I didn't do it, because when I graduated law school in 95, I had $100,000 in debt and I wanted to work in the Manhattan DA's office. I'm from New York State, and it was $35,000 a year, and I would have been below the federal poverty level. And then along came the big white shoe law firms, and they were like,
Yep.
here's 85,000. I was like, oh my God, that's a life-changing offer, And so I went the corporate route. It worked out in the end, but one of these days, don't be surprised if I leave the media business and there I am working in the Manhattan DA's office, prosecuting crime.
It was great, Megyn. It's great.
We were lucky to have you. The country was
And I
lucky.
would
Georgia
say-
was lucky.
I would say one of the closest people to me now is my former investigator, because he saved my life, and for many other reasons. But we were out investigating a triple homicide that went down on a Sunday night around 11:30 in a housing project. And nobody wanted to be a witness, of course. And we were out during the day, which of course you're not going to find like dopers. They're like vampires. They wake up, at 3 and 4 in the afternoon. But we were out looking for a witness, and we went to one door, Megan, and it was hot and bright outside during the investigation. And they were inside a dark apartment with a rusted screen door. That door opened. The first thing I saw was a double barrel pointing right at my face.
Oh, wow.
And he grabbed me, and we both dove off the side of the porch. And on another occasion, a defendant took a lunge at me in the courtroom, which I later, reinterpreted and put in a book. And my investigator was there to help me. But
One of the things I like about listening to your show is you bring back a lot of those folks from your prosecutorial career, and you go back over stories and you'll tell some of the stories. I remember one you told not too long ago was about, all I remember is you were talking about how you'd bring out a big jug of water in the courtroom, right? And make it muddy.
Great.
Right?
Yes.
That makes sense.
And I would have it sitting there on the table the entire trial.
Alec Murdoff, that's what they needed. Big jug of water. Remember all the water underneath the table? It was like, good golly, how much does he need? Mints and water.
Next to the Bible, of course. And except the jug of water was a prop. I needed the Bible. But the jug of water at the beginning of the trial, I'd shake it and it would get all muddy, a big jar, like a big mason jar. And then in closing arguments, I'd shake it at the beginning and set it down and then go through all the evidence and talk about how it is the defense's job to muddy the water, to make it unclear. But once you focus on the facts and the law, everything becomes clear. And I would hold up the water that by the end of my hour-long closing argument had settled, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
that's perfect. No, if there's one thing
again.
Georgian jurors know, it's muddy waters. They're familiar with that, so it works.
Yes.
But that's just one example of your trial gifts. I would have loved to have seen you in action. All right, stand by. When we come back, we're going to hit on a couple of the big cases of the day that Nancy's been covering in depth, including Kohberger and Idaho.
We're going to fast forward this part. We ain't got time for the
Negative
commercial.
dings on credit reports.
Yeah. We don't have no negative dings on our credit report. Credit report's going up. Okay. If anyone wants to know.
Nancy, one of the biggest cases that we've been looking at and will be looking at, we think that in 2024, is the Brian Kohberger trial for the 4 murders that happened in Idaho.
And before they get started, I just want to let you guys know, this is going to be her reaction to like the house being demolished because we didn't get one from her. Like everyone knows, that's been following the, Idaho case. If you know Nancy, you probably know that she's been following it as well. So when they demolished the house last week, we all thought, or the week before, we all kind of thought Nancy would come out with a video, and she didn't. This is kind of her reaction to it on Megyn Kelly's video. And thank you guys all for being here tonight. I truly appreciate it. If you guys don't mind, if you appreciate the case coverage, just don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps get the channel out there. And don't forget to subscribe because we do talk true crime daily. I'm going to learn to get some words in my mouth that aren't tongue twisters for myself.
Idaho. And I know you've done specials on it, and I want to talk about some of the news you broke. But can we start with the fact that they did indeed tear down the house in which those roommates were living over the objection of at least 2 of the victims' families who felt it should be preserved in case it could be useful at trial. And I thought they raised some good points about how it might be useful at trial in case the prosecution wanted to show jurors certain aspects of the murder scene. But here you see the video of them tearing it down. The University of Idaho felt strongly it should go. Site of trauma. People didn't want to look at it. What do you make of it?
Didn't want to look at it. I can't believe they did this. I can't believe that the interest of the beautification of the campus outweighed the interest of justice. Now, practically speaking, no jury is entitled to go to the crime scene. They're not. We hear about it quite often, as you know, Megyn, from being a trial lawyer yourself. We hear about it a lot because it's rare, and when it does happen, it makes the news. We know about O.J. Simpson, rot in hell, taking the jury to his home, led by my former co-anchor, Johnny Cochran, may he rest in peace. And of course, they had the chance, the defense, to completely redo the inside and then take down all the pictures of sexy blondes and put up pictures of Simpson with his mother and pictures of, I think, like a Norman Rockwell painting of the day of Brown v. Board of Education when the little girl goes for the first time to a now integrated school. Images that would strike the jury at their heart as it would anyone. I mean, I walk into a guy's home, I see a picture of him with his mother, and I think, wow, if he's that close to his mother, how bad can he be? That was all staged. So I don't know that visits to the crime scene help the state. On the other hand, look at Alex Murdaugh, that POC, technical legal term. The jury goes to scenes, the hunting lodge where Maggie and Paul Murdaugh were murdered by Alex Murdaugh. Don't anybody jump up and say he didn't do it, because he did. They went there and they came back with a guilty verdict. So, it's like flipping a coin, and I don't like flipping a coin in court. It's akin to asking the question you don't know the answer to. When you do that, you are going to get the blowback right in your face. You need to know exactly what's going to happen and control it. Whatever the other side wants, you don't want. You don't have to think about it. All you need to know is that's what the defense wants, and then you do not want it to the core of your being. Now, again, do they have to see the scene? No. Is it a constitutional violation if they don't see the scene? No. Is it rare that juries see a crime scene? Yes. However, in this day and age, jurors expect DNA. They expect fingerprints. They expect a really advanced dog and pony show, and they expect to go to the scene if they so choose. That's not going to happen.
No
More
longer
important, Megan, I think that it's a major mistake, because very often it's alleged police wrongdoing, whether it's some sort of misconduct or the gathering of evidence. I think it's really important that the jury be able to see what happened.
Well, they've already went after that.
Combine it as an overlay with whatever was on the body cams. So they know that there was no police wrongdoing, no planting of evidence, so to speak. I would like them to see the room where that knife sheath was found bearing Brian Kohberger's DNA in the snap. That's pretty strong evidence, right?
Yeah.
But that's going to be subject to an argument of contamination, of planting, and I'd like the jury to be able to see.
Well, not really, Nancy. If they're wearing body cams, if their body cams are not turning on and off, if it's a straight shot, then you know what I mean? Then they wouldn't be able to have a very strong case to say they planted evidence. Do you know what I mean? If there's no cuts in it, there's no cuts in the footage. If they go straight through the house, they have the body cam on the whole time, they don't turn it off. I mean, that was my argument with that. But I would never argue with Nancy.
That 3D imaging BS. There's nothing like the real thing.
Okay, and then another thing too, like to get the exact like acoustics and visuals and all of that stuff that was seen the night of the murders, they would have to put the house back together. They would have to put the furniture back in the house. They would have to put the victims back in the house. They would have to go there at 4 a.m. in the morning, because for the acoustics to work right, you can't be there at 9 a.m. or 1 in the afternoon, because more people will be out there, more people on the streets. So, the acoustics would be different. I don't know. I think it's easier to go to like some scenes if you're going to, have a jury scene or jury visit than others. Like, Moselle for Murdaugh was outside. OJ, well, that house was just out of control big, but they moved everything around in that house as well. And I think they did at the Murdaugh scene. I think there was stuff planted over there. I mean, that was very weird, but it all worked out in the end with that one. But those are the only two, other than the school shooting, that I can think of that they actually went to do like a jury visit.
Well, and one of the points that the families were raising was, what about these two roommates who were there, who didn't call 911, or at least make it 911 get called through a friend until the next day. Wouldn't it be helpful to the jury to see what could you hear from their rooms versus where the other rooms were? How far away were they? I mean, these are all things that will become big issues. All of it's lost now. I want to move on to one of the pieces of news that you made in your special. Your show airs on Fox Nation, in addition to here on SiriusXM and the podcast. And you took a hard look at Brian Kohberger, I am blank. It's aired in August. And this is one of the most interesting things. You had a guest who served as Kohberger's former administrator at a career and technical institute he worked at. And she called attention to his issues even back then with women. Here's the clip.
Some of the issues that arose were based on having a mixed population in that classroom. One of those incidents ultimately resulted in him being removed from that program.
She says Kohberger's kicked out of Protective Services, the program he works so diligently to get into in the first place. The school transfers him into the HVAC program, heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. This program has no female students.
Now, I have a question over that. Like, this was like a vocational type of schooling. They said that they moved him into the HVAC program, but wouldn't he have to agree to that? Like, either like he agrees to be in the HVAC, but couldn't he go back to like his home school instead? Like, so in this program, Brian Kohberger is having a lot of problems, I guess, at school. He's in the, I don't know what it's called, like the cadets or like the officers kind of like training like program. And he was out of line with some females in there. So they decided to move him to the HVAC department and like make him go take classes over there. But when you go to like a vocational type of school like that, that's to further your like your trading, like you get a trade, you know, you'll learn a trade or whatever there. You would think you'd have to agree to that because that's something that you're going to do after you got out of school. I don't know. You would think that you'd be able to go back to your home school. Like, let's say I went to a school, let's say it's called Smith School. If I went to the vocational school and I like was doing bad there, couldn't I go back to my home school? Like that's what I would do. But not if he got kicked out of a different school. That's true. Yeah, that's true. If he wasn't doing maybe good in that prior school either, he was like, well, maybe I should just take the HVAC. Didn't someone say his dad did like HVAC or something? I thought they did.
We were also a little bit more comfortable knowing that any possible continuation of negative behaviors would not occur in a situation where there were no females.
Has either of those women, have any of the women he had the problems with come forward, to say what he did or what it was about him?
Not in that particular instance as of yet, but I believe that by the time of trial, that will be ferreted out. But I can tell you this, I very carefully watched and listened and wrote down every significant word of his confrontation with a female police officer. What he did is he went out into a crosswalk and didn't come to a full stop, as I recall it, before he turned. Something maybe didn't put on his blinker, something you would normally think was fairly minor. Nobody was hurt. He gave her so much grief. And I only hope he takes a stand and acts the same way on the stand. He would not have talked to a male officer the same way. And actually, we do know that because he was pulled over twice en route with his father in the car from where he was, near Idaho, all the way back home to the Poconos. And he stood up and saluted. Let me tell you, he gave those officers, when he was pulled over, the male officers, all the respect they could possibly hope for. But not only that.
Now, I'm going to disagree with Nancy. Now, Nancy, don't you come after me and don't your cardboard cutout scare me tonight or anything or haunt me. But I don't get incel from Brian Kohberger. I don't know. That's just me. Normally, from what I know, and I don't know a lot about incels, so correct me if I'm wrong, but they hate all women, right? They like hate them. They like loathe them. They just seethe with anger when they see a woman. I mean, I didn't see that in the body cam footage. I personally didn't see it. And I have it up. So I thought we would like maybe switch over and play a little bit of it. I should have grabbed the one from the guy too, because I think that it's just the timing of it. So when he talks to the woman officer, that's before the homicides. So I think then, yeah, he's going to say a little more. Like, yeah, he's going to lie a little more. Like, we don't have crosswalks in Pennsylvania. Like, come on now. So when he was pulled over by her, it wasn't like a big deal to him. I think that he was fine. I don't think he was rude. I don't think he was mean or rude or anything. I think he was just kind of just maybe trying to get out of a ticket almost. Like, we don't really do that in PA. Like, I understood why I could understand why you would be a little upset if you got pulled over. If you were like in the middle of the intersection, which you shouldn't be there, but most of us do go to the middle when we get that, we have time. I think that he was mad because he got pulled over for, just the light turned red and he turned. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That's just my personal opinion on it. Now, do I love the guy? No, hell no, I don't. But I'll give him a little bit of credit where credit's due, I feel like. But I just don't really see him being that bad in the video. So I have the video up. We'll like go over to it real quick and we'll just kind of see what he says. I don't know. Maybe I need to listen to it again a little bit. We'll just listen to a couple minutes of it and then we'll see.
Do you have the registration and insurance?
We just get this for you out.
You what?
I'm just gonna get this out for you.
Okay.
Yeah, like he's telling her, like, I'm just gonna get my ID out for you. Yeah, we do that. We do that everywhere, Roseanne. So like, oopsie. So what the heck did I just do? Oh, I don't know what I did, but okay. Oh, I just duplicated the page, I think. What's going on here? Let's go to this one.
You're not supposed to block an intersection like that in Washington. So just by you blocking the intersection, that's technically a ticketable violation. And then then you're running a red light. So it's another ticketable offense.
I mean, okay. So everybody be honest. Just be honest. And everybody that's listening in, put your number in the chat. Because I know we all do this. Now, I don't care if it's one time a year during the holidays when you're just ready to get your shopping done or what, but we all go to the middle of the intersection. Like when there is that turn to the left or what, even if it's right, I think it was a left-hand turn, but let's just say it's the turn to the left or whatever. We're in the left-hand lane. We have that where, we want to turn. We go to that middle of the intersection. We poke out a little bit, and then we poke out a little more. And a little more after the car goes in front of us, we're like, ooh, okay. And we're like fully in the middle of the intersection at that point. I know we all have. So put a 1 in the chat if you have. Put a 2 in the chat if you've never done that and you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't dare take up that crosswalk for somebody. I'll put a 1 in the chat because I've done it. Oh, shoot. Sometimes I don't really do it now that like where I live now because I'm more like cautious because we do have so many crosswalks and I'd hate to be that person, but I mean, I'll do it. I don't even think I stop on the way to Target. Sometimes I just slide through the light. I'm just kidding. I'll do that. Therese put 2. Therese, I would love to ride with you then. Jan put 2 also. You guys are so nice. Look at you guys are awesome people. Everyone's putting 1. We're terrible people. We don't care about them walkers. We're like, we need to go places to go people see. I think we all do it. You know what I mean? Most of us do it. Tanya makes her own damn rules. I do. I told Vincent today I break them until I get caught. And then I hate that I broke them. I'm like, I'm such a rule breaker until I get caught. But I think we all have, and I think that we all try to weasel our way out of a ticket. And to me, him rambling on is just kind of like maybe nervousness. I don't know. That's just what it sounds like to me.
You're not supposed to proceed into the intersection until you can go, because a lot of people do what you just
like
did,
he's shaking
right?
his head,
you're sitting in the intersection waiting, and then turns, and then you're blocking. So
yeah, there was a little bit of confusion with speeding because someone had stopped. I wasn't sure what they were doing, and then they put on their light to turn. So I thought that maybe they were letting me go through.
Oh,
did you see that?
No.
Did you see that?
Right before I made the turn, there was someone who made a right. They didn't have their their signal on, so I wasn't sure if they were just waiting.
Yeah, so I would just advise Just don't enter the intersection until you can go, so you don't get stuck. Let's see.
I don't know. He doesn't seem like too much of a, to me, like, I don't know. You think he's being an artist, Marion? I don't know. I don't see it. But that could just be me, I see more of a nervousness, like he's kind of like trying to just kind of get out of it. But then again, that could just be me. It's only breaking the law if they catch you. That's what I was always caught. I was always caught. Yeah. So it's weird seeing him talk again. I haven't seen this video since probably last year. His eyes are very, very, very open. Don't they? They do, Ashley. They do look like he's on something. And I don't, but for some reason when he got arrested, he didn't appear to be. Like, he didn't appear to be withdrawing to me. Like he was very like cool, calm, kind of like when he walked through, even with the purple hands, coming back. I don't know, just very cool, calm, and collected. Yeah, look at those brows. ALR. PKC said 1 and 2. And if you're watching on replay, let me know in the comments. Yeah, they are black. He has some very, very dark eyes. You guys are all right. You're very right about that. Okay, we'll go back to Nancy. She's almost done, I think, talking to Megyn here in a few minutes. But I don't know. Maybe he is. I don't know. He treats women differently to men. See, because like with his lawyer, he seems like he's like, I don't know, with Anne and, I can't remember the other lady's name, his other lady lawyer, but he seems very relaxed with them. Very calm, cool, doesn't seem like he's seething with anger that he's got a woman defending him. I mean, he's not pulling a Sarah Boone. She's had 7 attorneys now, Maybe he thought he could play innocent with her. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that I've never been pulled over by a woman, actually, I think. No, it's always been guys. And I never get out of them either. Yeah, there are his lawyers who knows better. Yeah, but you would think, Jan, if he was like an incel, if he seethed with hate, like if he hated women that much, he would be like, I'm not having a woman. I'm not going to have a woman represent me. That's what I would think. Or you would think he would be like, I'm sitting by the dude, Jay, all the time. I'm not sitting by you, Anne. Like, because he's even sat in the middle of them. I don't know. But maybe we'll see more at trial. We never really get to see his mannerisms. I mean, we never get to see him talk. So just based off his mannerisms, he seems pretty calm to me. When he walks in that courtroom, he seems pretty calm. He's charged with 4 murders and a burglary. If that was me, I would, as soon as that door opened, I would fall to the floor and be like, please help me, Lord Jesus, but that's just me. Well, Sarah Boone shouldn't have a choice either, but she does. She's had 7 attorneys. She doesn't pay for one. They're all public defenders. She calls them buffoon and they leave. No, but so does Sarah Boone. She has court appointed she has public defenders. She's had 7 of them. So that's what I don't get. You know what I mean? Like she can go through 7. We literally just heard her call a lawyer just a buffoon. And he was like, I'm out of here. I'm not going to be called names. What? It's crazy. What, Sarah Boone? How could she pick? You know what I mean? Like that's what I don't get. Like, but there are only a certain amount in Idaho, maybe where Sarah's from. She's from Florida. There might be a lot more.
I'm very curious about a coworker where he was a teaching assistant getting his PhD in criminology. He befriended her, convinced her she needed a surveillance system in her home. Then he set it up so he could have full access to her home.
My God.
And watch her, changing clothes, sleeping, watching TV. Not only that, he had several altercations at the school. He was actually reprimanded about the way he treated women students.
But it's a good note to self, like all young women, if you need help with the security system, hire a professional. You don't go to somebody who you barely know.
Working with.
Right.
Not the perv named
Mistake.
Brian Kohberger. Hey, and another thing which is not going to get brought up at trial, I guarantee you, because the defense is going to argue it's too incendiary and prejudicial, blah, blah, blah. Incel, the theory that Brian Kohberger is in fact an incel, involuntary celibate, and hates women because he can't be with women. And remember, he was also banned from a bar because he would go up to women and say things like, "What's your home address?" I would run for the hills as if I had seen a monster. If some
Yeah.
creepy
I
dude
forgot
comes
about
up to me
that.
at a bar and says, "What's your home address, lady?" N-O. He had to get thrown out of that bar. And I'm sure
Didn't they have his name like written on a board in the back, like a whiteboard or something? Like they had like a message about like don't serve that guy. Don't, he's barred. He's not like allowed in here. I feel like I'm gonna have to go back to my old lives. We need to roll back to the old lives. That would be kind of fun. The sound might be a little off, but that'd be fun.
that there are other examples.
What do you think is going to happen with him? Because, so far the prosecution hasn't shown its hand about how much DNA evidence they have, but the defense at least is telegraphing none. The defense wants us to believe there's nothing more than that one dot of touch DNA on the knife sheath. So if you had to predict where they are now, chances of conviction in the 2 minutes we have left.
Well, I do know that discovery has been handed over to the defense, which means if there was more DNA, we likely would have heard about it. But there's more than just that one bit of DNA. There's him buying the knife on Amazon and the knife sheath. He bought it, but we can't find it. So where is it? We know he was
How do we know he
compulsive.
bought it?
So what did he do with that knife?
How do we know for
Why
sure?
was he in the vicinity there at the time of the murders? Megyn, I drove his route. Pitch dark, an hour home
We'll be getting off
when he
soon,
could have
Jen.
gotten
Have a
there in
good
11
night.
minutes. It's complete and total BS. I can't wait to see how the defense handles that.
And then you also went and you spoke to the neighbor. I saw that on your show. You spoke to the neighbor, but then
yes.
the defense is going to use that, right? Oh, he loved to go out for rides at night. He just in the middle of the night. This is his stress relief.
Look, he's a wackadoodle.
But he didn't. The wife, remember the lady said that lived below them? They were, I believe that was like an Indian couple, because you could hear the voice, but you couldn't see the person. They didn't want to be on camera, but you could hear them and you could hear kids in the background. This wasn't the young guy. This was a different person. They didn't want to be on camera. And they told Nancy that he would be upstairs after midnight cleaning at all hours of the night. And the wife was like so sick of it because they have kids and everything. And he would just be up there just like vacuuming and stuff like that, which I can't say nothing about that. I vacuum every damn day of my life. And I'd probably do it at midnight if I could. So I don't think that he's really a cruising kind of guy if he was upstairs all the time. Now, I'm just wondering if she's going to be a witness in this trial somehow. If she's going to say either for the defense or for the prosecution, let's say November 13th, she remembers he was home because he was loud as hell that whole night. He was up there vacuuming. He was up there singing. She could hear him. Like, you know what I mean? Like things that she could clearly, state as fact, like, that he was there. Or what if she says that house was quiet for the first time in 2 weeks that night? I was wondering if he finally passed out from cleaning so much. You never know. It could be bombshell. It could be bombshell. Like if you're used to hearing someone every night, or let's say every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, or you know what I mean? And then, or Sunday. And on this Sunday, he didn't make noise. That might be something that the prosecution might want to have, might want to put him on the stand.
To put it euphemistically, the neighbor told me that he tried to befriend Kohberger because Kohberger's dad said, "Hey, he has a hard time communicating. Can you befriend him?" But the neighbor's wife, after meeting Kohberger, said, "Don't bring him back in our apartment. There's something wrong with that guy." Yeah, she had the sixth sense. And when I think of those those four beautiful students now dead and their families grieving, that guy, if we're going to have the death penalty, which is a whole nother can of worms, he's the one. He is the one.
Couldn't agree more. This has been such a pleasure. Please come back.
I would love to. And thank you very much for inviting me. And hey, I saw you went on an RV trip. I love RV trips.
I know
and
you
I want to find out all the details.
Thank you. Gotta run. All the best. To be continued.
Bye, friend.
Oh, she just had to get that in there. She had to get that in. Bye, friend. Bye, friend. No, I need one of those. I say much love at the end of the live in the chat, but I need something else. But that was the video. ALR says I'm a night owl. I get creative around 1 a.m. That's just how my sleep cycle works. I've become a night owl. I did use a label maker, actually, on my stuff. I did. You guys are going to be so impressed when you see the new place. It feels so new. It feels so big. Oh my gosh, we're using all of it. Like we've never used our whole place. It's amazing. Ashley said, like, I do my best work after midnight. Me too. I really do. I've been like, I don't know. I need to go to bed early tonight though, because I have to be at my doctor's at 7:45 a.m. in Columbus, and it's about an hour and 15 away from me. And I don't know why I did that to myself, but it's for my feet. My feet have been really bothering me. So I hope that they can fix it. Really? 5, 6 a.m.? But then if I went to bed that late, I've been sleeping in. Like, I've been crabby in the mornings. Vincent's like, you're terrible in the mornings. He said that to me today. He's like, you're terrible to get up in the mornings. We got to get you up in the morning. And I'm like, really? I think it's when I don't set my own alarm and I'm not on my own schedule, because I have to get up and I literally have to like hang out in my bed for like an hour or so just before I'm even up. Like, just don't even bother me. Just let me get on my phone. I mean, just try to, it's today I did a new day, like wake up. I just read someone's, I thought like they said he liked to run at night. He did. So his friend did say he liked to run at night, but I think that I don't think they ran like every night. I think it was just like, I don't know, every once in a while. But yeah, his friend did say that, or not. I guess it was a friend, It's 3:52 in Scotland. Oh, wow. You're in Scotland? Crafty one? Where's Isabel at? Wake you up, Isabel. No, she has to be up at 6:30 in the morning. I need to start doing some earlier lives for that poor girl. She's here. She's just sleeping. One of our mods is from Scotland. She's coming over here, though, in October. And I think I'm going to try to get to her somehow. So if she's not watching this on replay, surprise, I'm going to surprise her. I don't know how we'll get to her. But if she's in the same country as me, that's like, I have to. Did he tell his friend he liked to harm people after those runs? He didn't tell him that, DM. He didn't tell him that part. But I think that's all I have for you tonight. I was going to like read over the jury stuff, like jury visits, but I think we'll do that on our next live because it's pretty interesting stuff. I wish that we could watch. Maybe we could probably, no, they didn't do that. Didn't they film when they went to OJ's? Didn't they film that? I thought they did. Now, they may get me with copyright because it's OJ, but too bad they didn't do it for Murdoch. But they had cameras there, so maybe we can watch like the videos of like Brian and stuff, like the News Nation being there. Really? Doodlebug, that's awesome. She said Long Crime wrote an article about her boss and her hubby. About my boss and her hubby. Uh-oh, did she unalive her hubby? It's Long Crime we're talking about here. Did something bad happen? They do. Jan's always done a great job. I was telling Vincent that earlier. I was like, she says hi to everybody. Really? Murdered? Wow. Your boss was murdered? Wow. Just recently? I didn't see it if you wrote it in the chat tonight. Sometimes when I'm reading, I can't read the chat. And I'm still getting used to this new setup. I think we need to move the mic stand because it's like an arm that comes out and it's my mouse. I'm hitting my hand there. And that's probably why. If you see my mic going, that's why. Oh, I didn't see that. Whoa, he killed her. Why don't we cover it? Whoa. What's the name? Oh my gosh, that's so crazy. What? That's crazy. So you said the hubby did it? Hold on. Let me see. He killed her. So he killed your boss. Wow. That's nuts. That's crazy. We have that. Like, I don't think it was Miss Linda. I think it was Tammy George. She hasn't been in the chat in so long. Oh man, if I ever saw Tammy again, I'd probably fall out of this chair. But she was always here and always. And I think it was her, I want to say her nephew that got murdered. And they didn't know. That's when she left the chat, kind of, was when that happened, because she had to deal with family things. Oh man. January 1st, hit her with a hammer, hit her body in another county. Just found her. Oh my Lord, have mercy. What's the name? Did you tell me the name yet? Let me know the name. Wow. What? That's crazy. Y'all. With a hammer? That's just wrong. Yeah, oh my Lordy. I mean, I don't know. Like, I mean, you should never hurt anybody. You should never unalive a person. I think we all can say that. That's a golden rule, like we all know that. We're very aware. But if you were to do something so heinous and so awful to someone else, I would think that you would, I don't know, just like make it fast. I don't know. Like, I mean, you shouldn't hurt anybody, but I'm just like, that's the way that people take other people out. It's just like, what? Wow. That is sad. You have to let me know about that. Yeah. I'll have to look up Long Crime News. Wait. What's this? Hold on a second here. We follow this story. Oh. Okay, this is good news. So this is about the doctor that poisoned his wife. I'm going to pull up this article, but we've been following this case on our channel, sorry. And it was Dr. Conan Bowman, and he was accused of, poisoning his wife in their Minnesota home. And he was the one that slipped the gout medicine into her smoothie. And he had done it like prior to that. And she had said it tasted a little funny to a friend of hers. I think she drank it. I'm not sure if she did that time, but he was like slowly poisoning her with gout medicine. Because that's what he's a doctor and he knew what to do. But his Google searches, of course, it's always someone's damn Google searches got him, I missed the name again. What's the name? Oh, there it is. Jackie Glenn and Joseph Glenn. Okay, let me write that down. Because I was on their website and that's when I saw this and I was like, whoa, this is another case that we follow. I just want to write that down because that's wow. Wowza. I'm so sorry. Man, you were probably close to, I don't know. I've always been close with my bosses and stuff. Like, that's just really, man, that's heartbreaking. So it says the Mayo Clinic doctor who authorities say killed his wife after he spiked her smoothie with gout medicine has been indicted for first-degree murder because he was only charged with second. So Dr. Conan Bowman was previously charged with second-degree murder in the death of Betty Jo Bowman, but a grand jury tacked on the first-degree murder charge in the January 4th indictment. Connor Bowman faces life in prison if convicted of the most serious charge. Betty Bowman died at a hospital on August 20th following a 4-day stay at for what doctors initially thought was food poisoning. So what she did, she went in, she thought she was having food poisoning. And her husband's a doctor. So not only is your husband a doctor, but you're sick. You're in the hospital. Like if that was me, I would be looking to my husband to fix me, help me, help me, help me. Like one of those things, like even more so than just the average Joe because he's a doctor, but he's the one that's been doing this the whole time. She was there for 4 days before she succumbed to her, I guess, injuries. I guess that's how you say it. And yeah, right. You're right, Ashley. He was inserting himself into medical care. He was trying to read her medical paperwork. He wanted to know the whole deal. He wanted to know it all. So, and he had access because she was at the Mayo Clinic. Like he was accessing her records. Very crazy. It says that her condition deteriorated rapidly from the time of her admission, and she began to experience cardiac issues, fluid in her lungs, and organ failure. Betty Bowman was considered a healthy person before her hospital admissions. Her husband suggested to others and in her obituary that she suffered from, we're not going to read that, remember that, HLH, which is a rare illness where certain blood cells build up and damage organs. It's like hemophagocytic lymphophysis. Yeah, Nancy tried it too, but she didn't get very, very far with that word. But investigators learned she had no previous symptoms of HLH. The day after she died, the Southeast Minnesota Medical Examiner's Office alerted the Rochester Police Department about a suspicious death. The office had prevented a cremation from taking place due to the unusual circumstances. Connor Bowman had asked the medical examiner's office that his wife should be cremated immediately because her death was natural, authorities said. But according to the medical examiner, they received a call from a woman who knew the Bowmans, who said the couple was having serious marital issues and talking about a divorce following infidelity and a deteriorating relationship. Oh, a probable cause affidavit. Did we read that before? I don't know. I thought we did. I think we did on our live. I think we did. We'll have to check it out. I think we did, though. Defendant Bowman emailed both investigators at the medical examiner's office asking if toxicology reports that were being completed were more thorough than what would typically be done at a hospital. Oh, yeah, we did read that. He also asked for a list of what would be tested. Connor Bowman had attended pharmacy school and worked in poison control in Kansas and was currently in medical school. A spokesperson from the Mayo Clinic said in a statement that his residency at the hospital had just finished in October. So he was a doctor. He just finished his residency. We are aware of the recent arrest of a former Mayo Clinic resident on charges related to his Mayo Clinic responsibilities. Betty Bowman had recently told others that her husband was in debt, so they kept separate bank accounts. Oh yeah, the $500,000. Connor Bowman told a friend he was going to receive a $500,000 life insurance policy as a result of his wife's death. And that's exactly how much he owed in his student loans, was like $500,000. It says that these are from the search records. Friends of the couple depict a marriage on the rocks because of financial troubles and infidelity. Though the Bowmans were in an open relationship, the couple agreed they would not become emotionally attached to the other's partners. Oh, however, Connor Bowman became infatuated with his new girlfriend, friends told detectives. Betty Bowman allegedly confronted her husband with the woman and suggested they start divorce proceedings. One friend said she went to see Connor Bowman at his home 3 days after the death to find the girlfriend there with him and his wife's photos taken down. I don't remember that part, the warrant said. Woo. So her pictures were down and the new girlfriend was in. Another pal said she was visiting with Betty Bowman 10 days before her death when she gave her a smoothie her husband made for her in a Lilo and Stitch cup. It tasted very bad, and the friend thought it was strange Connor Bowman had made a smoothie for his wife because he never made anything for anybody, according to the warrant. Seems like he was an ass. The friend said jokingly at the time that Connor must be trying to poison her, but didn't think much of it at the time. Betty even joked that she had considered it at the time and said she didn't think that would happen, but decided not to drink the smoothie anyway and threw it out. The friend became suspicious when Betty Bowman suddenly became sick. Connor Bowman also was not acting like a grieving husband typically would in the days following his wife's death. He seemed stoic and calm, even going out for drinks where he appeared to be happy or at least indifferent about his wife's death 2 days after the fact. Like, come on now, dude. Don't go out to the bar 2 days after. Have drinks at home. Friends told detectives the doctor would have means and know how to poison his wife, as he had just hit their pharmacist residency at the Mayo Clinic and also worked as poison control specialist. The friends, many of whom are medical professionals, grew weary as her condition deteriorated so quickly with little explanation. One of Betty Bowman's boyfriends told detectives that Betty Bowman on August 14th told him she had a few days off work and was looking to spend some time with him. The two saw each other the next day and texted later that night while she was drinking with her husband at home. Man, that's weird. Open relationships. They never end well. I don't think they do. On August 16th, she told him she was so sick she could not sleep at all. She said she thought it may have been an alcoholic drink that she had that caused her illness because it was mixed in large. Because it was a mixed in a large smoothie. That didn't make sense. Investigators claim that Connor Bowman used his Mayo Clinic email address to buy the drug colchicine, the drug used to treat gout that investigators believe he used to poison his wife. He tried to blame her for buying the drug that killed her, saying she fraudulently bought the drug under his name. To poison herself, to only go to the hospital to beg for help and not tell anybody what she was there for, like that would be the first thing you would do. If you took something and you're like, oh shoot, I took that I shouldn't have, I'm going to go to the hospital. The first thing out of my mouth would be, I took colchicine to try to off myself. Can we get it out of, what can you do to get it out of my system? You know. Ashley, I thought I saw something in the chat about, email me, honey. If you haven't, I need to look at my email. I thought I saw something earlier, but I was hoping it wasn't true. Well, you're not the issue. I could tell you that. Crafty one, have a good night. So it's undetectable. So pretty much, yeah, Marianne. So it was like he did it with colchicine so that it wouldn't be something that would be tested, you know, like in a normal screening. And he knew that because he went to school to be and like he's going to school for pharmacy. And he also worked in poison control. So, you know, and he has some Google searches too, like how long would it take? He put her like exact like weight. This was at work. He put her exact like weight and height in and how long it would take before she would die. And I mean, like he was on it. Like he was a little sleuthy guy before he did it. But I do have I have 1 or 2 videos on that. If you guys want to check that out. I think it's under, I don't know if it's actually under a playlist. So you might just have to search these videos if you want to watch it. But I think it was a Nancy Grace episode. It was pretty good. But yeah. I'm a pirate, Ashley. Arr, matey. I got one eye. And I wear a pirate patch sometime. I wish I had one handy so I could show you guys. Speaking of which, since we're done with that, I'm going to have to go to my eye doctor soon. And I know he's going to probably say we got to do surgery. So, I mean, you know, if you hear me say that in a few months or a couple months, that's why. I have like I'm just going to point it out, but I have like this little mark right here. And it's like almost like an indent. And it's bothering me. And I just noticed it today. And Vincent said he noticed it yesterday, which because we're, you know, like not in a bad way. He's just like, I just noticed it, you know. And so I'm like, do I go to the doctor? Because if I go back, it's always like, we have to do a surgery. So, you know, if you see me with an eye patch, you never know. I'm glad I made you laugh, Ashley, because I'm a pirate. Arr, mateys. I can't, but I can only wink with my left and I'm blind in my right. It's so weird. Being by yourself isn't bad. It's really not. I mean, you know, I got Vincent. I love, you know, I can't say much. But when I was by myself. Yeah. I'm the same way, Ashley. I like to be around people, but I like to be alone. I feel like it is a little bit of a problem with, so I'm just going to go. They'll probably say like they can inject fat there, but I'm not trying to pay a bunch of money for that. So let's just do the surgery. But yeah, if you see me with an eye patch, I'll rock an eye patch on live. I did it before. I'll do it again. I have different colors. They're all like different. I have like all kinds. But I hope that you have some good sleep tonight, Ashley. I hope you're able to sleep. You're not going to sleep. I already know you're going to be cleaning or doing something or making something or, you know, you can't hear out of your ear on the right. Oh man, Therese, look at that. Soul sister. I can hear I can hear like no other, actually. I have really good hearing. Oh. Marianne, I thought about like making eye patches for people, just like as a side thing, just to do like for fun. Like when I first started my channel, because I was going to be like a trauma channel. But that sounds like me, Ashley. I say that I'm asleep and I'm dead. But I need to sleep tonight because I got to go like wake up super early tomorrow, get in the shower, maybe take Vincent to work. I'm not sure what he's doing there, and go up there. But my feet have been killing me. Like, I don't know what they're going to do to me tomorrow, but I hope it's nothing bad. I've had like these like this little sores on my like toes. I'm being brutally honest. And they really hurt. Like they didn't hurt before. I thought it was just like callous skin, but it's not. I went to the dermatologist. They told me to use this cream. I used this cream for like a month, 2 months. That didn't work. It made it worse. And now I'm in pain. Oh, I definitely have neuropathy, but this is more of like I don't know what it is. It's a sore, but it hurts. It hurts to wear a sock. It hurts to do anything. So I'm waking up early tomorrow to go to that appointment because I have to go. And then my one foot has metal in it. So that doesn't help. I was reading the chat. I love to bling things, ALR said. Really? I think I don't know what they're going to do to me tomorrow. I'm like, I just don't want to be in pain anymore. It feels like someone's stabbing me in the side of my toes every time I walk. And I wouldn't like wish that. I told Vincent today, I was like, I wouldn't wish this on anyone. Like, because I'm good with pain. Like I'm really good with pain. So it's really bad. I know it's really bad, but to me, it's manageable. Like I've been managing it for like 3 months, 4 months now. But I do that all the time. Thanks, Trial Time Tammy. Thank you for the prayers. Thank you guys. Thanks, Doodlebug. Oh, I can't get the link through here. But I've got their names. Really? They might be. I thought they were like corns or something on my feet. Like not to be like gross, but like they don't look terrible. Looking at them now. Like it just looks like a dot. Just looks like a dot. And so that's why I thought it was just like skin. And I've gotten every machine possible. And so I think what it is I get like my foot down until like it's okay and it's not in pain. And then it's like so bad now. So I'm just going to the podiatrist. I feel so old saying I'm going to podiatrist. Like I'm 38. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to walk out, watch, with some cool shoes. His look like calluses. Oh, gray ALR. Plantar warts. These things hurt. Like, I mean, hurt, y'all. Gnome earrings for Vita. Oh my gosh, Therese, that sounds like so much fun. You think it is? I'm about to look it up. Let me look it up. Planters. Well, mine's on the side of my toes, though. Does it do that? Does it go on like this? Mine's on the side of my toes. Mine's on the side of my big toe. Plantar warts. Wow. Because this one I saw the one. It looks like well. Oh! Don't look at the pictures. It almost. Oh my god! It almost does look like that. Oh my god! It does look like that. My face is like white. I'm like, guys. Oh, I did. I looked, Doodlebug. I looked. It's only one. Like, oh, wonder where you get them from. That's exactly what it looks like, y'all. That's what. So, do you think it's from my shoes rubbing? I bring this stuff to y'all because I ain't got my mom anymore. You know what I mean? And I got you guys. This is like a mom thing, or even a dad thing. But this is like above me thing. This isn't above me. I need someone high. I need someone higher up on the family food chain, Yeah, I can get help. But it just looks so. See, shoes, water, dirt. I wonder if it's from my Birks. Do you think it could be from my Birkenstocks? Because my feet sweat? Because I get like hot? But I have to wear Birkenstocks because of my feet. because of the problem with my leg, so this is gonna be bad. This is gonna be like a thing. So I wear Birkenstocks all the time, mostly because I have the metal rods and I have metal in my foot, and that's what they told me and I have high arches, extremely high arches. They're called there's some Latin word for it, but that's what they told me to wear. They're like, so that could be it. But those are those little wart things. I always wear my and it's right now I have on little slides. I try to keep my feet comfortable, and I wear the best shoes. I really do. I have the best boots, dress boots. They're $300 or expensive. They were ridiculously expensive, but we got them because, actually Vincent's mom got me a pair, and then Vincent got me a pair for Christmas because she sent me some money for Christmas, and I went out and bought a pair of boots for that reason, because I needed good shoes. You have to have good shoes. Yeah, my feet sweat sometimes, a lot, Ashley, because I get nervous. It's a nervous habit in my hands. I bet you not this, but I have a little callus even there. Just wait for the doctor. I know. I hope that this doctor is nice. Do they give you numbing stuff for that? They numb your foot at least? But damn, I want to show that to Vincent. Oh, I looked at it again. Some of them look really bad. Mine isn't that bad. But it does have the same kind of, definitely has the same kind of look to it. But some of these are multiple on the bottom of your foot. That's where mine is, Ashley. That's exactly where mine won't go away. My callus will not go away to save my soul. That's crazy. Really? 1 or 2 treatments, Lisa? Oh, that's good news. You can treat them. See that? Trial Tammy. That's what I said. I was like, but I think it was weird because, they always sometimes they have a student with them. I go to Ohio State, but I think that it was a weird exam. They did a full body exam, and I think they were trying to learn everywhere else. There's no marks to really learn. They had I'll show you 2 little dots right here. You can't even see them on camera, and that was really it. And then my feet. And I was it. I thought it would just go away. Well, that ain't gonna go away. She's gonna go shower. I love you too, Ashley. Have a good night. Take a hot shower. Try to soothe yourself. I need to send you a bath steam or a bath bomb. But I'm gonna jump off here too. It was so great. It was so great. We did a 2-hour live. We've been doing some longer lives. I'm gonna try to cut them down to an hour and a half. But me, I say that, and we just get to talking. But it was good to see everybody. Don't forget to hit the like on your way out. I'll see you guys all tomorrow about the same time. But I think it's going to be a little bit earlier, about 8:15. I'm trying for 8:15. And since I do have to go to the doctor so early in the morning, maybe I'll get some more stuff done because I'll be up so early. So I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Have a good evening. If I do get a burst of energy, maybe we'll do a members live tomorrow during the day or something. But I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Have a great night. Bye, guys.